maybe the meaningful stuff is in the pre-bit.
Yeah. Bit like my my mic.
Yeah, your mic's lovely. Yeah, I know. Wait, is that brand new?
Brand new.
Wow, I
How
got
do
one.
I
I
do I
got one.
sound close?
Do I sound close? Is that good?
It's good.
Yeah, it's a good mic, but it's not as, it's just one of them.
Yeah, yeah.
I haven't got a fancy schmancy.
You haven't got you haven't got a fancy arm.
I haven't got a fancy arm. No. No, it's good. Does it help?
What?
Are you more well now? You've bought something. Capitalism or consumerism, is that the answer to
Yeah, just get a new
all our
mic.
problems? Just get stuff.
Get a new mic, you'll be well.
Yeah. Do you feel like ecstatic when you order your new mic?
Lydia came in and was filming some content with me earlier. She
Oh,
came in here, went, whoa, a new mic.
yeah. No, everyone likes a new mic.
Come on.
Turns out.
All right, so come on, let's be serious now.
Hmm. I've been thinking about this a lot,
Okay, yeah,
and I've reached the conclusion it's completely hopeless.
go on.
Well, no one knows anything,
Yeah,
and it's like you've got you've got science,
yeah,
evolving science, you've got study of hormones, you've got genetics, you've got neurology, you've got all that stuff, you've got stress, the effects of stress. That's the kind of interesting stuff. You've got homeostasis or allostasis, you've got all of that. And then you've got psychology, which is essentially, in terms of psychotherapy, entirely made up,
yes,
mostly by traumatized maniacs in the sort of between the beginning and the middle of the century.
yeah. And white men.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care about that, and that sort of worrying about that, I find just.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I mean, yeah, okay. Maybe that's relevant.
Well,
Uh,
I think it's relevant because uh, what until um, really in terms of body psychotherapy,
hmm,
Gerda Boyson coming
mhm.
along, it was very masculine, the field. I think
Yeah,
that
is,
means
is that
something.
is that? I mean, the field is very new, isn't it? So,
Mm.
body psychotherapy dates from when? When Reich starts poking people?
Yeah, in 1930.
Something? Yeah, a bit later than that, after he's left Germany, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
really, body psychotherapy started with Freud.
sure. Yeah. Well,
I
no,
mean,
body psychotherapy starts with what is interesting in that paper we read that it starts with Ling, like he's the first
yeah.
guy who's mentioned. And did you know that he may have learned his stuff from a Chinese man called Ming?
No. Wow.
Which is sort of completing the circle, isn't it? So if you
Yeah,
sort
yeah.
of if you study body psychotherapy and you think about it and you go, well, it's yoga and Tai Chi and Qigong and lots of people have been doing this. We're just figuring out what other people have known for millennia, and then you find out that actually maybe the sort of the markable beginning of things in terms of a mixture of massage and exercise, and that's Ling's thing, isn't it?
Mm,
That's the Swedish
yes.
school. I think you do exercises and you rub people.
Well, and that was from the gymnastics tradition, was it? Have I got
Yeah,
that
well, sort
right?
of I think became the gymnastics
Right.
tradition.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's related to body health and
Yeah.
sportiness and exercise. Yeah, yeah, no, totally. But if its point of departure has is feeding off of older, more Eastern systems, then perhaps that's where it kind of comes from.
And so then when you and I were talking about what this podcast series would be,
Hmm.
we had a loose idea of putting together one recording a month that would explore one practitioner or one part of history of body psychotherapy and psychosomatics.
Hmm.
And maybe that would be the podcast. What's your sense of that, us having done some more reading and thinking about it. I mean, is that still true? Is that still what we're here to do?
Yeah, well, I think that would be coherent. I think that
Yeah,
would give us. I think we'd know more on the other side of that, and I think we'd be able to communicate that to people. I mean, as with any history, it's sort of it grows, doesn't it? So it's quite easy. I mean, I've been reading a couple of biographies of Reich because Reich's always mentioned, and I
yeah,
sort of wonder how much we know beyond the Wikipedia entry,
yeah.
and that's been um, incredible. I mean, what I've learned or what I feel from doing that is not what I intended to find out.
Go on.
Well, I just think that I keep on having this thought. Reich goes completely mad,
Hmm.
I think, probably.
Well, there's that amazing YouTube clip of him ranting to
Well,
his
there's
tape
there's
player.
that. Yeah, but I knew about cloud busting, for instance. So
Oh
I
yeah,
knew, but I didn't realize that Reich was fighting UFOs. Like he was fighting a war against UFOs, and the cloud busting wasn't just to make rain, although he was once employed to do that, and apparently, according to his son, did it successfully. Um, but he was breaking up sort of miasmic, evil clouds that he felt were being formed by the nuclear testing that was going on at the time, and of course, the dropping of the nuclear bomb. And then that was his first thought, and then it becomes that we're being attacked by UFOs, and he's going out in the desert with his son, fighting sort of cosmic battles with this machine that directs orgone energy upwards. I mean, I think probably objectively, maybe some people would disagree. I think probably that's a mad person.
hmm,
And the interesting thing with Reich is when does he sort of become mad? So there's sort of a moment with most people when a look changes in their eyes and they go, well, this person has just gone completely loopy. Now, what's interesting about the book is when you read about his life and what he'd been through, you sort of think, well, this is a person who was incredibly damaged and traumatized by what he'd been through in the 20th century. And what's interesting in the sort of description of his madness is a sort of lack of sympathy or interest. I mean, I've been thinking about how we think about the mad. We sort of despise them. There's some sort of quite horrible podcasts out there where people are talking about Reich as a quack and a maniac and a charlatan and a pseudoscientist, and those things all have some truth in them. But what I got from reading his biographies was that here's somebody who's fighting and has been fighting his whole life against the evil. I mean, Reich is very brave. He's an incredibly brave man, probably more than lots of other figures of that movement.
oh for
You know,
sure.
takes on the Nazis. He's trying to set up free clinics for the working class. He's a very noble individual. In many ways, a complex individual. There's all sorts of interesting things about his relationship with the women in his life and the children in his life, and it's complicated. Um, so yeah, I sort of haven't learned anything about body psychotherapy apart from that his development of touch-based therapies is quite short, really. The gap between him abandoning conventional Freudian psychoanalysis and moving into this more somatic territory is quite a short period. It's not, there wasn't sort of 20 years when he was doing that work, and then he sort of got interested in orgone. The movement is very quick, and it's hard to find out much about what he does. So I guess what I'm saying is, if we read those books, if we attend to those figures in history, we may find out all sorts of things and have all sorts of thoughts. I don't know what they're going to be. I think it'll be valuable.
And where do we stop? I mean, what's if we were to split it into 10, what's the current day? Is it Van der Kolk and Mate and Porges with the polyvagal stuff? I mean, what's the current day?
Well, I guess those are the big players, aren't they? I mean, I think the current day is probably, ironically, the kind of the effect of the influencer. What's happened since social media became such a huge thing,
Yeah,
and what are the implications of that? I think that's interesting. There was an article in the Guardian today about wild birth. Did you read that?
I haven't read that, but go on.
Kind of interesting. It's not quite our field, but it's not a million miles away. So it's about the huge influence of wild birth influences, and how that's led to quite a large number of infant deaths.
Right.
So I suppose responsibility, irresponsibility. I mean, I think the influencers' purpose is to make money for themselves.
Well, I think the influencer's purpose is to seek some sort of empty validation.
Yeah, well, that's interesting.
I
Yeah.
think as a comorbid point,
Mm,
money flows in that direction.
mm,
Um, but how many, the tortured artist, well, if I have one more person applauding me, will that be enough?
mm,
And I think probably that's an archetypal position of the influencer.
mm. Yeah, that's quite profound. And so, what's the implication of that for wider health?
Well, Reich was an influencer. I mean,
Yeah.
he was seeking. I mean, he was the classic sort of masochistic personality. No, I mean, going through uh, his life as the other, thrown out of the Berlin Psychoanalytic Institute because he refused to get behind the Nazi Party, um, sort of damned and condemned for his work using touch, goes and runs experiments in the States or wherever, and they're often massive failures. I mean, brave, but like that was way ahead of his time in a way. And he was trying to work it out. And instead of just doing what all the other psychoanalysts did of the time, which is do nothing, he was trying to do something and be a somebody, wasn't he? I think he was really trying to create a movement. I feel, I don't know what you think about this, but I feel like we get a sense of that when you listen to interviews or read accounts of people who knew him.
Hmm.
There is coded a sort of desperation or a sort of something in that. Like, are you on board? Are you on board with this?
Mm,
Are you coming here? I mean, that's the position of the influencer, isn't it?
mm.
Do you see the world how I see the world if you do come here?
Well, that's I think a more positive perspective than the one that I think I hold. I mean, I wonder if people are sometimes just purely charlatan,
Right.
which would be a different kind of neurosis. I mean, maybe it's not a neurosis at all. Maybe that's just seeing a space and an opportunity and occupying it, or maybe it's just the drift of a cultural moment. Like, what else are you going to do if you're smart?
Well, and the lack of um, regulation.
Yeah, the total lack of regulation. And what you described once to me, you were talking about us kind of reading together as holding each other to account.
Yeah.
Like, who's holding these people to account?
Yeah.
It's kind of mesmerizing, isn't it? I was looking at something earlier on, this sort of myofascial release person. There's all these people standing around, and then the thing happens, and the person is yelping and screaming and unwinding and releasing, and you kind of think, what is this?
Yeah.
And similar things are described in Reich's clients. And I mean, there's a moment when they're out in the desert fighting UFOs, and the people with him are doctors and smart people, and they're kind of seeing them, they're believing it.
Perhaps then this series is us trying to establish what really is a body psychotherapeutic approach through examining the figures in history and what their influences have done to the field. I mean, if we didn't have Reich, we wouldn't have Van der Kolk.
Yeah, maybe.
I think it's probably true.
Yeah, yep. I mean, whether those people are wholly good, whether their work is completely valid, whether it's influencing, whether it's pseudoscience. But I guess what I keep on thinking is, if it's not pseudoscience, it's sort of GCSE biology.
Yeah.
Where'd you get? When I was literally listening, I was like, well, hormones. Do I understand hormones? So I found a bite-sized GCSE podcast on the BBC and listened to it when I was walking. I had a long walk yesterday, and it was good. By the end of it, I sort of now I have. I think I could probably pass a GCSE paper in hormones. I mean, where that gets me as a trainee body psychotherapist, I don't know.
Right, because ultimately, whether or not the body releases acetylcholine to co-constrict the lower esophageal sphincter
Hmm.
is really of no biological concern to us, even though that might be what's going on in the system.
No, I mean it's like the thing we both know well, I suppose, the sort of the vocal anatomy, and we've had that conversation. Like it's
Yeah,
fun to know,
yeah, yeah,
gives you something to tell students or clients. When you tell students or clients, you look like you know what you're doing. Maybe that
yeah,
has some value, but really, what do you get from it?
yeah. Influencing.
Yeah, influencing. Yeah, you can impress people.
Yeah,
But on the other hand, and to counter that, of course, if you're going to do something, think it's an entirely appropriate urge to want to understand it.
yeah.
Like, I'd like to know about the history of body psychotherapy beyond just being able to list a few names. And I'd like to know about the biology a little bit, or the physiology. Feels important. Um, I guess one would only know on the other side of finding out.
Well, then, I guess we have to say welcome to anybody who's made it this far.
Mhm.
We'll stop the preamble now.
Okay.
We'll
So
record
this is
the
the
actual,
preamble.
yeah, we'll record the actual episode.
Mm. The actual introduction.
Yeah.
I don't have anything else to say. I thought that was perfect.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, no, I did too. And I think it's sort of, well, I hope it, for whoever's listening and watching, it captures something of how, after me training as a therapist and doing my master's in body psychotherapy, I'm still not sure what it is that I'm doing with people.
With people as a body psychotherapist.
Well, with people and their bodies beyond really trying to attend to what arises in the room.
Mm.
I don't think there's a mystical technique.
I mean, the thesis of the body psychotherapeutic school that I'm about to start training in,
Mm,
as far as I can figure it out, is that the body holds unconscious material which
mm.
can be made conscious through the body. So that's pretty much a psychotherapeutic, psychoanalytic process, I think.
Well, yeah, I mean, making the unconscious conscious is Freud's whole thesis, isn't it? In some ways, going into the murky depths of the mind, opening the deep freezer and seeing what carcasses are there and whether you want to bring them out.
Right, and so that makes sense. That's
Yeah,
something I can sign up to as an idea, both somatically and psychologically. I mean, Reich's thing very quickly becomes about orgasms
yeah,
and the idea that the orgasm is the key therapeutic experience, and that moving people towards the possibility of it is healing. That's not quite the same thing, is it?
no, no, and I think that's an interesting place that the field starts in, right? But, certainly in the Western tradition, because I think that meaning that good sex or good, good enough sex, good enough sexual acts leads to wholeness and healing is a tricky place to build an entire uh, thesis from.
Yeah, very. And I think it was James Baldwin, the great sort of African American cultural critic, kind of political thinker, said, well, the people I grew up with had orgasms all the time
Mm.
and still went out in the evening and cut each other up with razor blades.
Yeah.
Like on a common sense level, I think it's probably not right.
But again, we come to and these are some of my thoughts sort of hanging over from my reading of Freud. When I read Freud, I see somebody really trying to work out something
Mm,
in real time
mm,
where there wasn't a workings out before.
mm,
And so I do think it's easy for us to sit here with the knowledge that we have of the sociological advancement of the world and I don't know, all of the theories and all of the wars and the ways and everything that's led you and I to this point here in front of my lovely mic.
mm.
You know, it's like
Influencing.
it's easy for us in some ways to go, oh, you know, Reich and orgasms, cool, what a guy. But he was seeking to work something out.
Yeah, yeah, that's absolutely true. Yeah.
And I not that I think we're sort of
The Freud
Reichian
and Reich.
leaders. Yeah,
I
but
don't-
I hope that whatever we document here and leave ourselves open with is also a workings out. I mean, I think that's the key bit, isn't it? It's not that we're getting to an answer necessarily, is it? But it's that we're
Hmm.
seeking to find some workings out that might move the field on.
Well, maybe that's. I don't think I feel equipped to move any field on. But I think what I've realized, I got all excited just now. Don't know whether you could tell, but I was thinking, well, maybe it's about examining these figures and these ideas in a place that's somewhere between sort of skepticism or hostility and blind faith.
Cool.
Because like many things, I feel it's the missing bit.
Right.
You know, I again, it maybe it's tedious, but I can't sign up to fascia kind of the cult. You know, I just can't join the cult.
Yeah.
But it's not that I don't think the work works and it's not valuable. I don't think it's kind of magnificent in some ways. So, but I'm not going to do the science in figuring out what's happening. Like, I don't think either of us are going to be setting up a laboratory and experimenting. So, yeah, is it possible to examine these key figures? And we were talking about starting with going quite a long way back to Walter Cannon and then
Mm.
Celia and then those sort of early people who are investigating the physical manifestations of unwellness, stress, etc. And yeah, and as we move into the other key figures, yeah, could we do that? Is that possible?
I think that sounds great.
Okay. So a sort of a midpoint examination with an open mind and an open heart, but our brains kind of plugged in to look at this history of body psychotherapy.
An internal good cop, bad cop.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, okay. Or an Excel. What do you want to be?
Yeah, well, I think I look like the good cop here.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, okay, great. Does
Yeah,
that makes me the bad cop
yeah, yeah. Once again.
once again. But not just relentlessly negative, because that won't be much fun, will it?
No. Well, and no. And I think, look, it's fun to wrestle with. I mean, just going back to, we were just talking about it, you know, the concept of orgasm. That's a fun thought to wrestle with. It's very curious. And
Mm.
when you read his writings about, um, oh, the any organism, have you read that? You know, curling up in a C shape. It's like
Mm.
he was fascinated by whether or not the mouth and anus were coming together in orgasm or going away from one another.
Yeah.
Well, that seems fascinating to me. I don't know why, but that seems interesting.
Mm.
I don't think it has any therapeutic value per
What
se,
is like a therapeutic value?
but it's like,
Make one up.
but I wonder how it does exist in us, those sorts of thoughts, or a bit like when you showed me the Borges paper, and it was about that there was that amazing little diagram of upregulation and
Mm.
dorsal vagal tone or whatever it was, and it was like turning the head.
Mm.
It was just the concept that, of course, we need to turn the head to assess risk and take in our environment,
Mm. Or fix their head if we're actually in a fight or
or
whatever.
fix the head if we're in the fight. And so when we get people on the table and we come to move their head and turn it or tip it or stretch it or just introduce touch in that way, of course, the people whose nervous systems are massively upregulated are not going to give you their head.
Mm.
They're locked in.
Mm. Yeah. And that feels meaningful, doesn't it, as you touch somebody? Like it feels like a thought like that has meaning.
Yeah. Okay, then. So that's what the podcast is going to be.
Hmm. And who are we going to do?
I think I would love to start
Hmm.
with Heinroth,
Heinroth.
the first guy to coin the term psychosomatics
In the States?
in Germany in 1818.
Oh, right. Wow, that far back.
That far back.
We're going to have to read a difficult textbook in German.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to
Yes.
start this in about 10 years' time. What about it's going to take me a while to get my German up to scratch.
Well, I think that's where I would like to start, because I think it's fascinating that that was the first mention we have of psychosomatics.
Psychosomatics, meaning
Well,
illness,
meaning the body mind link.
the body mind link, not illness as a function of the body mind link.
No, no, not somatization,
Okay.
but psychosomatics. So that's where I would like to start.
Heinroth.
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 Yeah.
Cool. I know nothing. I've never heard. I think I've never heard of Heinroth.
Okay. Well, that yeah, I
Where
have
did
a
that
sense
one?
that that's where the I have obviously Heinroth.
That's okay.
So God, am I doing this with the right person? Right. Okay. Anyway,
Okay, great. Heinroth.
where do you want to start?
Um, hmm.
You want to go further back?
No. No, 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 no. Heinroth is fine. I think early 19th century is fine. I mean, I guess, and we're going to do 10.
Well, we said 10 because it feels nice.
It's a good number. It's a good doable number. I'd like to see Susan Sontag at some point.
Go on.
Well, Sontag wrote this very influential book called Illness and Its Metaphors, followed by AIDS and Its Metaphors. And Sontag references Reich quite a lot. And essentially, her book is a riposte. It's an argument against the idea of somatization and traces the sort of implications of the metaphors around illness on the ill. And it's a very powerful book. I mean, what's quite interesting about it is it sort of reads as a slightly as a defense, because I think perhaps somewhere in her Sontag suspected that all of her illnesses were a result of her life and her trauma and her psychology. But yeah, I think we should have somewhere in our podcast somebody arguing against the ideas that I'm sure we'll end up repeating.
Great. Okay. So from Heinroth to Sontag to Van der Kolk with Freud and Reich, Gerda Boyson,
Mhm.
Lowen, and the
Yeah.
bioenergetic sort of stuff.
I mean, that's the most sort of successful post Reich. I mean, he trained with Reich.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting when you look at him and there's more stuff of him doing his thing. That's probably the most clear, accessible link to Reich.
Great. Well, I don't know what we're waiting for. Let's do it.
Let's get our German up to scratch.
Let's go.
What should I read? What do I read? What should I read to understand? Roth.
Well, maybe we should have a reading list that we put. I mean, I don't know off the top of my head, but that thought just sparked something, which is, I wonder if we have a sort of reading list for the podcast listeners
So they can all read
so they can all get
loads of
totally
difficult.
bored.
Should we start with something more fun? Should we start with Ray?
Yeah.
No, let's start with Roth. That's fine. Okay, great.
All right.
Cool.
Great. We'll see you on the other side.
Yeah, let's do it.